If you go back to the history of MLS was always going bankrupt. I think there will be a time where we're ready to have a start in our team with the caliber of a Messi. So I didn't have like the hunger to be a professional soccer player. I think it's the best moment for the game to become maybe the number 2 sport in every American heart.
Welcome to Game Plan, a podcast where we're going to be meeting athletes, business owners, entrepreneurs, and industry leaders. I'm Caio Philip, and I'm going to be your host. What is your game plan?
On this week's episode, Ricardo Moreira.
We are here at the Inter Stadium with Ricardo Moreira. Ricardo, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the invitation, Caio. It was a pleasure to be here talking to you and talking to the people that are going to watch us.
You started as a lawyer,
Yeah.
which is a really interesting shift, right? You migrated to the US. You helped building Columbus as what they are right now, and that was remarkable. You reached the MLS Cup final. You won the Open Cup. You reached the Champions Cup, and now you're a GM of, again, to me, the best soccer club in North America right now. What is your game plan?
Well, the game plan in life or the game plan in soccer, right? There are two game plans, but I think they're both.
That's the same for you?
It's the same for me. When we work in this business, when you work in this industry, I think my family is Orlando City, and my family at home, they breathe, they live Orlando City. I was telling you before, we started my son is an Orlando City fan since day one because he's been here involved and seen, and it's a business where it's different from when I was an attorney, when I was a lawyer. Now my family can actually see the result of my work day to day. They can just turn on the TV or come here to Intercon Stadium to see what's going on with the team, with the environment, with everything. But because of the amount of travels and the amount of dedication that you have to put into this business for you to be successful and for the team to be successful, and they're in both things, we walk alongside every time. The family has to be part of it. So Orlando's family, my family feels like home here, and I think the path to come here wasn't easy. But guess what? Things just get harder and harder once you're progressing in this career, right? Which is great, right? Great powers, great responsibilities. As I think the uncle of Spider-Man was.
Spider-Man said,
like
that's a great quote. I mean, I'm sure you tell that to your players, right?
Of course, yes. Yeah. And again, yes, because Orlando City, they say like the players, footballers, soccer players in general, they want to be in the World Cups, they want to be in the Champions League. But guess what? Your Champions League is here now. Your in order for you to get there, for me, for them, if you want to get there, your Champions League is here, right now. So you got to do well here. Otherwise, people around the world of soccer, we're not going to see you. So
it's a great exposure now with Apple and all the attention to MLS and the momentum for soccer in the US. It's tremendous. We just had a busy summer with the FIFA tournament here.
Yeah.
Were you more Chelsea, Fluminense? What were you? What was your heart at?
No, listen, I'm a soccer fan. I love Brazilian soccer. Obviously, I love it that Brazilian clubs did well. I have my home team. I grew up as a fan of Flamengo.
Not only, so you cannot say Fluminense.
No, but I was cheering for Fluminense. I wish that Brazilian clubs could do even better than they did.
Right.
Brazilian League is in the best moment probably of its journey so far.
They made a lot of money as well. I think the Fluminense made over $50 million.
Which for Fluminense is going to make a lot of difference, more than it would make for Palmeiras, Botafogo, or Flamengo.
But talking about that and thinking about the whole FIFA strategy, right? And we're going to talk about MLS, obviously. But when I see FIFA strategy, and many people were bearish on this whole US strategy, bringing the tournament here, having players playing a lot of games, and some players complaining. I think in Europe they filed like a motion against the FIFA as a club. Going against the whole intensity of the tournament. But at the end of the day, I think the results were good. If you see the media results, the money results for the clubs, the attention that soccer was on everybody.
Competition was good.
The competition. How do you see that? Do you think think that's sustainable?
I think it is sustainable, and hopefully it will be sustainable, because I think for the fans it's something great. Right, growing up in Brazil, you know how much being like the world champions or being the stage matters for Brazilian clubs, for South American clubs in general. how much it mattered for the MLS clubs as well. When people used to say that European clubs, they don't care about this kind of continental competition, but you see how much Chelsea celebrated the competition. It mattered for them.
And the money now as well is European.
It's always a good incentive for clubs. Right. Well, every club needs money, right? Everybody does. But I think it's a good strategy from FIFA. And again, doing this tournament in this country a year before the World Cup, we're doing lots of great things in MLS, lots of great things in soccer in the United States in general. But there's one thing that we cannot buy, and it's culture, right? So we have to grow the game, but we can put money, we can bring Messi, we can bring the best players, but we're building towards something for the future. Probably I'm not going to see the best MLS ever. MLS is in the best moment of its life, of its tenure nowadays. But in the future, I think it's going to be a top 5 league in the world. But for that, things have to happen and follow the natural course of things. And culture in soccer is like this. Clubs playing the World Club Championship, the FIFA Club World Cup, they're 100 and 150 years old.
Right.
Orlando City is 10 years old, 11 years old. Other clubs are 10, 15, 20, 30 years old in MLS. So I think probably we're talking about my son. I have a daughter, you have kids. Probably their grandchildren will be great Orlando City fans because they will just be part of this environment. Now we're selling a club, we're selling a game, we're selling a game plan, an idea for the fans. But culture needs time, and I think bringing this kind of tournament here, bringing the World Cup, MLS growing, and etc., we're building towards something that is going to be even greater in the future for this country.
So it's not a buzz only or a hype or a trend. It's something that it's being built.
I think it's being built. I think the American sports, you have it's a different scenario, right?
But how do you compete with the NBA and the NFL? Because you have MLS, obviously you have a lot of support from Apple, and you have a lot of support from the World Cup, FIFA, the whole media going there now. But at the same time, you have a season that is not the regular season globally, right? You have something special happening with MLS. It might change, it might not. And you have all these containers that is, it's a bit heavy, right? You have NFL and NBA, you have Jordan, legacy.
Yeah.
How do you compete with that? Because I know that you are competing.
It's difficult. We're fighting against Mike Tyson. We have just started our career in boxing.
Correct.
Right? Mike Tyson is almost 6 years old.
Is that a lot of pressure for you?
I think the pressure for us is, I think by creating a winning team, a winning culture, will help us develop our fans and bring our people to support Orlando City. But I think when you think as a league, as a collective group of clubs that are trying to make this sport better and trying to grow the soccer in this country, again, it's building stone by stone, because you're fighting against those guys that have been around for almost 100 years. And they say that a generation is like between 30 and 35 years. MLS is 30 years old. It's the first generation of fans in soccer. And to fight with those guys, I think, for example, I'm talking about culture, having the FIFA Club World Cup here, people in the US were amazed with the way the Argentinians and Brazilians cheer for their teams, right? Singing for 90 minutes, jumping without their shirts, and standing in the stadium and celebrating doing this with their jerseys. And I think similar to that, we can see like NCAA basketball, maybe the finals, March Madness, or something like that. But that's one thing that people go like, okay, that's how you support soccer. That's how players need the support on the field. So you start growing that, and then eventually you're not going to steal the fans from the NBA, from the NFL. It's just a different sort of, we have too many people here in this country. We have space to grow.
You mentioned something really interesting, which is generational. What's your first memory about being in a stadium?
My son is a Flamengo fan, and I took him to the Flamengo game against Chelsea in Philly. He's in love with soccer. He loves Orlando City, but he's a Flamengo fan back in Brazil. And I took him to the game, and we arrived at the stadium 4 hours before the game. So he had the whole experience, like the Brazilian tailgating, the flags and people singing and etc. He knew all musics, all songs and etc. I'm completely sure, I told my wife the day after, said, if I die tomorrow, you have a Flamengo fan here for life, because what he experienced on that day, I'm sure that he's going to take forever. And that I had those experiences back in the days in Maracanã. Obviously, I'm a professional, and if Flamengo is winning tomorrow or losing tomorrow, I honestly don't care. I care if Orlando City is winning, if Orlando City is not winning. But the core memory that I have is going to Maracanã, 1992 Brazilian league final, Flamengo against Botafogo. My whole family, 200,000 people in the stadium. We don't have we didn't have any safety regulations or guidelines back in the day, so just like the fear, the tension, the
Like
anxiety,
Coliseum, right? It's a Coliseum feeling.
Exactly.
The gladiators and just
the team
fighting.
won, which helped.
Yeah, that was a core memory for sure. And what you were a lawyer, right? Let's start with that.
Yeah.
What happened? I'm very curious about this because I was, we know each other, and it's interesting because many general managers or people involved in sports, they played before they had a career. I'm not saying you didn't, but you were a lawyer. You had a career in the Brazil top tier 1 firm.
Yeah.
What happened?
I love soccer too much. As every other Brazilian kid, or the majority of the Brazilian kids, I tried to be a soccer player. Back in the days, I played futsal. I played. I cannot say that I had a career in soccer, but I had good moments in soccer. I played until I was 19. I played futsal. I played regular 11v11 soccer in Portuguesa in São Paulo for 7 years. So
how old were you?
I started in Portuguesa. I was 11 to 12 years old, and I went until Copa São Paulo at 19 years old. So I was in the track of being to be a.
Did you want to make money, or did you do for love?
just for love. I come from a good background. I have a good family, so different from the majority of the Brazilian players. I had options, right? So I didn't have like the hunger to be a professional soccer player. Maybe looking back, maybe that's what lacked on me. Of course, talent. I cannot blame an agent, my knee, or anything like that, an injury. It was a lack of talent in the end of the day. But I think the hunger that eventually came to me when I was already a lawyer trying to work for soccer, I didn't have when I was in the trajectory of being a professional soccer player. Again, as I said, I had options. So I was playing soccer, training every day, but I was going to college, and that's not the reality in Brazil, right? You have to choose, you have to pick and choose. So,
but here in America it's different, right? Here in America you pay to play, right? Yeah. You can if you're a good player,
you go to an academy and then you don't pay. Yeah.
And then you go to an Ivy League and you get a scholarship and you have options as well.
You have options. Yeah.
Do you think the ambition that drives many players from, because when you think about the number 1 players in the world, they are either from Africa, from Latin America, from Europe, some of them, or they become Europeans as they go. Do you think the ambition is driven by this hungry for
money, for success? I don't know. I can tell that. I think it changes, it varies, right, from player to player. But I think the majority of the players is just they don't have choice. I mean, they don't think about anything else, right? The average player in a South American league, in a South American country, they're not thinking about what their options are. Like, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to do school, I'm going to work as an engineer, I'm going to work in communication. No, soccer is what they have, right? They grow up playing in the streets, and that's all they know. That's all they like and they know. So I think because I had options, and maybe because of talent, obviously, I didn't pursue this career, but I'm a very good amateur player to today.
And you mentioned something interesting, because they didn't have other options, right? That's the only thing they know. Do you think that's why when they end their careers, many of them make the wrong decisions?
Yes.
Money-wise?
Yes, definitely. I think the whole entourage surrounding players nowadays have become better as well. So they have better financial advisor, they have better career advisor, they have the agents of today are better than the agents of yesterday. They're more prepared. They have lawyers around them, so they know what to do, what not to do. I think the vast majority, right? I think players that are very successful in Brazil, in Europe, in the MLS right now, they have good people working with them and preparing them for the longest career of their lives that comes after soccer. Their career in soccer is going to last 10, 15, 20 years, and then they're still going to work for another 30 if you're lucky enough.
Did you make that move to the MLS? It was calculated for something bigger, or it was like, this is my moment, I will take the leap here, I will just go with that and let's see what happens next?
No, I think when I was in law school, I had an opportunity to come to the United States to play NCAA, to play soccer.
How old were you?
I was 20 to 21. And I came here. I stayed for 18 months in a good school, NCAA First Division in Baltimore. And I could see I could see like the growth of MLS. There were talks about Dave Beckham coming here, and I didn't know anything about MLS. I watched J League, but I didn't watch MLS, to be completely honest. And when I was here, I was watching MLS. I went to a DC United game back in the days. I was like, okay, there's potential here. There's something that may be happening in this country here, because I was playing college here, and college teams with soccer stadiums, football stadiums, great academy, great gym, great structure, etc. Better than Brazilian first division clubs had back in the days. Now it's different, but I saw potential here. So when I went back to Brazil, I went back to law school. I started working as a sports lawyer. So okay, I don't want to work in Brazil. That's what I knew that from day one. Like, I wanted to be a sporting director, and Brazil was not my end goal, just because the way Brazilian clubs are managed by politics, the corruption about soccer, around soccer back in the days, and etc. So
Isn't the same in Europe?
depending on the country, I think there you have more. I think you have more compliance nowadays, and I think obviously you have the pressure of the fans. You have a lot of media, which is good, which I think can, if you take it the right way, can make you better, can make the team better. But depending on the country, depending on the league. But I think Brazil was kind of the queen or the king of it, or the Brazilian league.
And it still is the number one country for soccer in the world.
No, listen, talent-wise, I think we're always going to be, because...
Do you still think that?
I still think that. Yeah, you watch the Champions League final, you watch the Club World Cup final, you always have like 4, 5, 6 Brazilians that are protagonists in their clubs. Even with the national team not doing so well, you still have like Vinicius Junior as the main guy for Real Madrid. You still have like João Pedro scoring every game for Chelsea. Now you have Marquinhos, the captain of PSG, winning the Champions League. So I think that talent-wise, we're still good. The league is much better. What I saw back then, 20 years ago, is not the reality of the Brazilian league now, or the Brazilian clubs now. I think Brazil is 100% more professional now. Now it's a good league. But I had the aim to go abroad and do something else. That was the plan since day one.
And when you arrived here in Orlando City in 2018, right? They were still living the end of the Kaká, Pato shadow. So you had a lot of buzz, a lot of hype on those players, and suddenly it was gone. So I'm sure the arena was not as full anymore as it used to. You didn't have a lot of Brazilians fans coming to see the players or Orlando City. So a lot of the hype was gone. And this is the most Brazilian city outside of Brazil. Let's just put that way again. How do you, and now you have like one player, Brazilian player?
We have Rafael Santos.
You have Rafael Santos, a great guy, by the way.
Yeah.
How do you approach reshaping that future? I'm sure you have a lot of people saying, when you're gonna sign, and especially with the whole Messi Miami pressure, right? Do you think it's worth signing a player, or and convincing the leadership to do that?
I think so. I think that will show the ambition of Orlando City, and the ambition of Orlando City to win the league.
Your ambition.
And my ambition as well. I think what drives me is obviously having a good, I keep saying this word, but it's so important for me. It's having a good culture within the club, within the team, within the locker room, within our academy, our second team, within the kids that we manage in the club as well. And I think the culture that we've been developing the last 6 years, at least with Coach Oscar Pareja, is the winning culture. So we don't negotiate effort. We don't negotiate professionalism. We don't negotiate with good behavior as a profession. So if we can find a great star that can deliver what a star should be delivering on the field and off the field, this star can fit in what we are as a club. Obviously, we're gonna listen, and we're gonna try to bring. I think there are just a few Messis out there, right? With this effect, like they're unicorns, right? It's Neymar, it's Messi, Mbappe, Vinicius, Bellingham, Cristiano. I don't know, you name it. But it's not easy to convince them to come, and it's not easy to have the opportunity to be able to convince them to come. And it's not a money thing; it's a project thing. But I think what we've been showing lately, in the last 6 years, is that we are a team that is going to compete for championships, and again, that we have this winning culture. And I'm sure as we develop as a club, we're going to develop this culture and this identity even more, and we're going to be attracting players like of this caliber. We brought Pato, we brought Nani. Obviously, great players, amazing players. Nani was super successful for us. Probably they don't have the caliber of a Kaká.
Right.
But again, there are just a few Kakás out there. When the opportunity comes, we're gonna definitely try to bring them and show the project to ownership, and hopefully they will deliver on the field as well.
So your eyes are open for that.
Every time, yeah. I think I like to see. I like to take a step back and watch our work in Orlando City. Myself, Luis, back in the days, Oscar, and the whole team that works with us. As we had the Orlando City 1.0, there was 2019, 2020, where we were trying to reshape what we were. We moved the majority of the players that were here in the past. We started fresh. We started bringing players that were like successful already in their careers. They were mature already, that could put us in a position to make the playoffs. Then we started bringing the younger players,
Right.
Facundo Torres, Ramiro Enrique, and some others. And we did well when we won the championship. And now we're in a different phase. Now we're seeing more European players coming to Orlando City rather than the Latins. So we have a better mix in the locker room. We have a better balance. We have Marco Pazalic, our all-star player, our DP. We have David Brackele. We have Robin Jansson, our captain. So there's a different trend now. And I think there will be a time where we're ready to have a start in our team with the caliber of a Messi. Maybe 2 years, 3 years, 4 years ago, we were not ready as a club, as a city, to welcome a player of this greatness like Messi in Miami. Miami, I think, was ready for Messi. Maybe we're the next team to be ready for the next star.
What is the timeline for something like that?
Well, I can answer you as I would answer a reporter, right? We don't have a designated player spot available at this moment.
Right. You think the MLS caps, the salary caps, is something that facilitates the league to operate in a fair level, or do you think that hurts the league? That brings competitive to a level that kind of create this underdog feeling?
I think that's why it exists. I'm not a fan of it, to be completely honest. If there have been conversations around the league to kind of...
Why is that in the first place?
I think it helped. If you go back to the history of MLS was always how do you say, like going bankrupt in 2002, 2003, because I think owners were spending too much and the return was obviously not enough. And they created the designated player rule to be able to afford and bring players like Beckham and etc. to I think a steady growth and a more fair growth for every club and for the league itself, in a way that clubs would lose money but would have a plan to eventually make money and grow slowly into the big league.
So the whole point was in the first place to avoid the MLS owners to spend money like crazy, and then therefore they would not pay so much the players, so they would be sustainable as a league.
Yeah, and I think it's still to today, but I think now the league is so much.
There's more money.
There's more money, but it is as solid as it can be, right?
There's more compliance, more governance.
And MLS is not going to disappear. MLS is here to stay. So I think now is a moment where we can take the next step. The product on the field, the games, the technical side of the game is much better than it was 12 years ago when I arrived in this league. So I think we're making growth. And again, we're only 30 years old as a league, right? And I think we're in a moment where we're going to see the best MLS ever technically in the next 5 years for sure, because I think changes are going to come. Changes will come for better, and the teams will spend the money better. And I think one of the things that I'm proud to say in Orlando City is that we're probably, together with a couple other clubs, maybe Philadelphia, the best clubs in investing well our money, in spending well, in smart scouting, and having success on the field. So I think if we keep doing that and investing a little bit more as a league, we're eventually going to be much more successful and have an even better product on the field.
When you see those contracts that the player have, all the players, they, sponsorships, and even the soccer, MLS or Europe, when you guys sell players, what is the piece of the advice you would give it to every young player out there? Like, this is the number one thing you should be looking to a contract.
In a contract?
Yeah.
It's a tricky one, because I think my background as a lawyer helps me a lot, because it helps me balance a little bit emotion and a little bit more professionalism, right? When facing the challenge that we face as general manager, sporting director. So it gave me some qualities to negotiate contracts. But I think what the legal side of my life gave me is like calmness when reading a contract, when negotiating with a player, when negotiating with an agent. I had a person that worked with me in the past that said, I'm not married to a player. I'm married to a project. So the player doesn't want to sign the contract. You're not being successful in the negotiation. Keep calm. There are going to be other players. There are going to be other negotiations that are going to win. You're going to lose here. You're going to win there. So it helped him a little bit. And I think it's unfair to say that to players because they come from different backgrounds and their careers are so short. But I would say, like, be calm, because if you have a good team, a good general manager, a good sporting director, they will also take care of you. Obviously, their number one thing is to protect the club, to protect the project, and to have growth not only today and win Sunday, but to win in 2028. So that's what I'm here for. That's why I represent the family that owns the club. Like, I want to win on Wednesday, I want to win Saturday, but I will be winning in 28, 29, 30. So I have to create something that will last, right? So I have to treat players like they're here to last with us. So if they trust you and they trust the project, eventually they will trust that you're doing the right thing for them in the contract. So if they trust the person that is representing them, it's the first thing that they should be looking for.
And it's a trust, it's a project, as you mentioned. It's not about the money. Many players, they don't even need the money anymore, but they trust the project, right? You have Saudi Arabia investing a lot of money, but they are also there. I'm sure they trust the project, that they're building, they're shaping the form of soccer. You had just Al Hilal in the quarterfinals in the FIFA Club World Cup, and it proves that investing and bringing the right players can provide out the good results.
In the end of the day, talent will win.
And when you see that and your plan here in Orlando and what you're building, and the whole momentum of the World Cup and happening next year, do you think this is an encore tentative to revisit soccer in America and another tentative to make soccer great in America? Or do you think for this time, because you had in the 90s, you had Pelé, obviously, with Cosmos, do you think now is different, and why is different now?
I think, I think probably soccer is now one of the, probably number one or number two sport in terms of activity. Is the number of sport for kids in the US, right?
Is that so?
I think is the sport that kids have been practicing the most in the US in the last few years. It's super easy, right? You just need a small space and a ball. And you can be whatever size you are, whatever height you are, you can play soccer, right? It's very, you don't need athleticism, right? You need a little bit of talent, and you can grow your talent, right? Some people are born with the talent to play soccer, but some people can develop into good players by just learning the basics, the fundamentals of the game, like good passing, the moment of passing, etc., etc., etc. But I think now it's a better moment, because I think soccer became even more global than it was before. In 1994 World Cup, there was here in the West, one of the World Cups with it was a huge success. Was one of the most famous World Cups in the history of World Cups with FIFA. The attendances were great, the games were great. Obviously, Brazil won, which helped it because it's a popular country in the game and etc. The games were great, and I think now we're gonna see a World Cup with 48 teams, 3 countries, but the majority of the World Cup being played in the United States. You have the MLS, you have Messi here, the Apple TV with MLS, they're broadcasting MLS to the whole world. So I think it's the best moment for the game to become maybe the number 2 sport in every American heart.
That's an ambitious goal, but I think that's right. Who do you think is going to win?
The World Cup?
Yeah.
Well, I think if you can name the favorites to win the World Cup, it's going to be always the same, right? It's going to be Brazil, it's going to be Germany, it's going to be Argentina, one of those. I think if I have to pick one national team, sorry, Brazil, but I think either Spain or France will come really strong to this World Cup. And I think Spain would be if I have to put my money on it, which is something that I would never do, I would put it in Spain.
No sporting bet for you, but no. Ricardo Villar said the same thing. So
Spain.
There
you go.
So we're going to see this in a few months. Brazil passion or MLS structure?
Brazil passion.
Undervalued talent or blockbuster signing?
Undervalued talent.
Kaká or Beckham?
Kaká.
Kaká or Maradona?
Kaká.
Kaká or Pelé?
Pelé.
Pelé or Neymar?
Pelé, by far.
Pelé or Vini Jr.?
Pelé forever.
All right. The GOAT it is, right? I mean, it's hard to go against Pelé.
Yeah.
But Ronaldo also is a great player, but it's still Pelé.
Ronaldo phenomenal
Pelé.
is the player that I wanted to be growing up. Ronaldo phenomenal.
You can bring him here still for a
Legends game.
Yeah, why not, right? Ricardo, thank you so much. From Brazil to the Interco Stadium, Ricardo Moreira proves that strategy, ambition, a little bit of aggressiveness, right, towards the winning the game is what builds a winning club. And that was game plan with Ricardo today. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kyle.
I'll see you winning, and I see you flying as you will in the next years of your game plan. Thank you.
Trust the process and follow the game plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate everyone. Thanks for watching.
Game Plan is brought to you by Inter. Nearly 40 million clients around the Americas. You want to know more? Download Inter right now. Stay tuned for more.